from each happily ever after, every wish upon a star. Let's break down the movies that shaped who we are, from memory lane to now and everything in between. The most famous of films to the ones we've never seen. Decade by decade, all the times we laughed and cried, and with a little pixie dust, they will all take flight, reliving the feelings, and we're trying our very best. And if they mean the same to you, please be our guest. So hop aboard, we would love to have you as we hang with a certain mouth, the whole gang too. If you love nostalgia stuff, we hope this does the trick. Thanks for joining us as we deep dive the magic.
Hi, and welcome back to the Deep Diving the Magic podcast. I'm KJ.
And I am Jeffrey, and we are back today with the 143rd Disney feature-length film from April the 17th of the year 1980. It is a film called The Watcher in the Woods. The Watcher in the Woods was released, like I said, on April 17th, 1980, and then it was also released on October of the year 1981 after a failed first run. But we'll wait to talk about that in a little bit. The Watcher in the Woods is based on the 1976 novel by Florence Randall. And it is the return of some familiar faces, including Bette Davis in one of her final roles. This is Disney's dive back into the world of horror and their way to kind of promote themselves as like an older contemporary film. Like, come see this film, basically, for older adults. But would you like to start us off with The Watcher in the Woods synopsis?
When a family moves to a country home, the young girls experience strange happenings that have a link to an occult event years past.
Yeah. This is definitely, I don't know. For them to try the horror thing, I feel like the Escape to Witch Mountain was kind of more horror-y than this was. But before we dive too deep into this, and before you give us your opening like thoughts and facts and stuff, because I'm sure there's some, let me tell you about how hard it is to find this film to watch. It's out of print. But a lot of films that we've watched are out of print. And normally when a film is out of print, it still allows you to pay to watch this. Not this film. Thank goodness for the library. But either way, would you like to start us off with some opening thoughts about The Watcher in the Woods, or some trivia facts, or about how it failed at first and then whatever? Go ahead.
Well, like you said, I thought this was going to be the first film that we're not going to be able to actually watch
Yeah,
because
dude, we tried everything.
it
We tried
took
to
us a while
give
to
the company
find.
our money, which is what we normally do, and they were like, "Nope."
Um, it was a very hard one to find. Um, I don't know. It was confusing. I had
We've watched some more
read,
confusing film, but this was confusing. Yeah.
yeah, I read reviews on it about how it was petrifying, and I didn't get that.
Hmm.
Um, anyway, yeah, it was it was something, I guess.
Do you have any facts?
Yeah, so um, Anchor Bay was a DVD company that put this out, I guess. And in the commentary that they put out, John Hugh stated that Bette Davis wanted to play both Mrs. Elwood in the present and then 30 years ago. So they shot the scenes with her wearing makeup to make her appear younger, but she was clearly older than the character in the script called for. Um, and then in private, they told her it's just not going to work. And then she did look at it and she was like, "No, you're definitely right." So luckily they did go back and do that again because I guess that would have been very
She just has those eyes, man.
interesting. Um, And it was the second Walt Disney Studios film featuring an English manor mansion. The other one being Candle Shoe that we watched back in 1977. Um,
Mhm.
and I guess the film originally featured a scarier alternate opening.
Ending, I thought.
No opening
Oh.
during its original 10-day premiere before being pulled due to the scariness of the scene and being replaced with the opening still seen today. And the original opening consisted of the watcher sneaking up behind a girl playing with a doll and scaring her, causing her to drop the doll and run away. The doll flies into the air, is struck by lightning, and bursts into flames. The main
Yeah.
title plays out over the melting doll's face, and this opening was considered lost for many years and wasn't included on any home media releases, but wouldn't be until 2022 that it was finally recovered and posted online. We didn't find this because we couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So
Film was almost lost to us. Whatever.
yeah. And then Disney's theatrical release of Mary Poppins in 1964 was scheduled for Easter 1981, but it was brought forward to fill in the gap when this film was pulled from theaters in May of 1980. So that's pretty much it for things because we spent most of our time trying to find it.
And then I was excited to watch it after we find it, and let's see if it lived up to the hype. If you
Yeah.
haven't got already, but you want to dive right into The Watcher in the Woods?
Sure.
All right. So here we go. All right. So we are starting off in the foggy woods during the opening credits. There's some creepy music playing. We then cut to a family arriving somewhere by car and speaking about how isolated everything feels. They arrive at this massive manor, like KJ mentioned, and we learn that they are renting this for a bargain. They are basically they're renting it from this older lady, who's played by Betty Davis, who lives on the property still in like a side house. Um, the two girls talk about the area and the possibility of witches. And then as they say that, the weather suddenly becomes very windy and um, just not pleasant.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's a creepy old lady who owns the manor who lives in a small home on the property, and the girls discuss like so whatever the family's moving in, the girls discuss which bedroom to claim. But then when they're looking out the window, the older daughter, I don't know, Jan, maybe
Mhm.
Jan, mysteriously breaks a window, and she sees some lights going on in the woods. Anything to add to that so far? All right, so the creepy lady questions her, wants to
Well, the
know.
window shatters.
Yeah, the window breaks. Yep, breaks the glass.
Mhm.
The creepy lady questions her, asks her about like what motivates her, what scares her, what's her things,
Mhm.
and says that she reminds her of her daughter. Uh, um, Jan is creeped out by feeling that something has been watching her. She uh, she feels that something might have been awful that's happened there in the past. And we learn that the creepy lady used to have a daughter, and that was the girl's same age, and she reminds her of her, which is creepy. The creepy lady, Bette Davis, whatever heck her name is in this film, um, she's beginning to speak into the abyss. It's just creepy. The girl, Jan, tries to look in a mirror, and there's no reflection. But then she creepily sees a ghost-like figure with a blindfold over her face, and it shatters. And if you think it's scary,
It shatters and it falls over.
you should look into this 80s-ness. She's very on edge, and everything. The sister is creeping her out. Everything's just creeping her out. So that night, while trying to sleep, she sees the creepy lady wander into the woods, and the two girls end up admitting that they had heard something talking while they slept because each person thought the other person was saying something. But the next morning, they continue to live their everyday lives. And the little daughter finds a dog. The younger daughter finds a dog, and when they're trying to figure out what to name it, in a very The Shining Red Rum type scene, she writes the word Karen backwards, Nerak, on the window because she says that she heard somebody whisper it to her, and that's what she's going to name her dog. Um, this then creeps out all the people who read this backwards. We'll find out why in a second. There's some more creepy shots from the woods with the girls playing outside, and whatever. It's just that people are running into the woods. Everyone's like, "I didn't hear you. I didn't whatever." They couldn't hear each other, but then they end up venturing deeper into the woods, and they see this creepy light before. So basically, like they're running in the woods, they see this creepy light, and then Jan falls into the water. And then what has she done in this really intense scene? She gets like attacked by the creepy lady, who ends up just trying to save her. She was trying to like push her down from
Yeah, so
getting.
she pushed her back down into the water with a huge stick because the girl Jan was tangled up in like some kind of like tree branches that had like fallen over into the water.
Mhm.
So she was trying to push her down into the water to get her free of that. Um, but you can see like obviously on Jan's face, she thinks the lady is trying to kill her.
Yeah. Okay. So they are drying up, and while they're drying up, um, they are discussing the dog's name, and this is where we find out that the name Karen, which is the deceased daughter's name.
Yep.
Uh, which is the deceased daughter's name, so that's terrifying, right? Because this film is supposed to be terrifying. They ask a bunch of questions about the daughter, which is creepy. Um, this is where Jan admits to seeing images of the daughter wearing a blindfold. The creepy lady begins to tell them stories of what happened. Basically, she went with a group of people to watch an eclipse, and then she disappeared. And something about as part of a game, and the lady still seems to sense and hear her. Right?
Mhm.
Cool. The next day, randomly, because this is Disney films, they're just going to go watch some dirt bike racing because that fits the premise of this movie at all. They have this new friend who's like a guy their age. There's some creepy coincidences that are happening there. Um, they are talking to like their like the dude friend about Karen's murder or Karen just in general.
Mike.
Mike, okay. And then this dirt bike dude, this guy Mike, says that his mother was one of the people who were with Karen when it happened. Um, and then he asks her about it, and she begins to remember the evening and the events and how Karen never made it out, but she won't go back.
Hmm.
She won't go back there. Um, Chaos ensues. So now they're riding horses. I didn't understand the scene at all. So now they're all riding horses, and a bunch of chaos ensues where like a truck flips over.
Yeah, so they're riding horses. Something spooks the horses, so all the horses take off running. The little girl is yelling, "Help me!" So Mike runs behind her with his horse, trying to like help catch her and flag the horse down, while Jan's horse runs a complete another direction. Um, and I don't know if it was like the copy of the movie we had skipped or something, but like you said, a truck flipped. So I don't know if like the horse ran out in front of the truck and it flipped, or the truck just flipped on its own. Because then you see him run with his horse down into the water, but we never saw anything go in front of the truck. But he was still chasing her horse, so I don't know. It was confusing.
I don't know, but then we go up and then we're in the chapel, we're in the tomb, and they see an apparition of the ghost again with a blindfold over her eyes,
Mhm.
and there's a creepy man there. They all run off from each other. The windows in the chapel break, whatever. Um, the man starts to lose it. Um,
Oh, excuse me. In my notes, it says blue light causes the truck driver to swerve off the road, so it
okay,
wasn't actually the horse, but I guess our copy missed that.
sure. Um, so then the man starts to lose it because of the light, or because of that night. Uh, and what they saw in the chapel and seeing the girl.
Mhm.
But then again, because it's a Disney movie, the next day we're at a carnival, and Jan sees Karen's reflection again all around her in like a mirror room, um, and she thinks that Jan is pleading with her to help her because she is stuck somewhere, and she goes to the townsmen's houses, the people that were there that night, and they all refusing to help. So then she cuts through the woods on her way back, and she goes to this like dilapidated like cabin building place, whatever, and is attacked by a black cat because horror movie. And she encounters a creepy hobbit looking guy who thinks that she is the ghost of Karen. He admits to her that they never found Karen and that it was actually a seance. Um, um, and it was a seance with all the friends that they were there, but they ended up breaking like the ring around the rosy circle. And then it cuts to a flashback with like the initiation seance, and Karen is blindfolded, and the guy that wouldn't help her earlier was the guy who was like reading the things, and but then fire overtakes the chapel because it's full no eclipse, and then Karen disappears. Um, the older lady, or I'm sorry, the younger daughter, then she goes to the creepy lady's house. She's humming a song that the older lady remembers, and then she gives her this music box that the daughter had, and then the older sister Jan begins her trip back to the woods. But then she goes to the creepy lady's house to see what she's learned. But again, the sister's already there. They're all humming the same tune, like I said. Um, but then all of a sudden, the younger daughter just starts yelling that they must help Karen.
Mhm.
Right? Tense, creepy, whatever.
But it was her, but it didn't sound like her voice.
Yeah.
Like it was like a different
Like the
version of her.
like the red
Yeah.
rum scene from The Shining,
Yeah.
like I keep talking about. Yeah. Um, the younger daughter starts yelling they must help Karen, like you said. The mother then bursts in and demands that the family leaves. It's a crazy, crazy Disney storm. But the cow, but they like they're in a car, but then the power keeps shorting out on the car, causing detention. They get out of the car just as the car explodes off the bridge, blows up off the bridge. The family is losing its mind. There's nightmares that ensue. The younger daughter now is in a trance, writing instructions on the mirror. Something about trying again, right?
Hmm.
Um, and they find out that conveniently there is an eclipse coming the next day,
Hmm.
because of course there is. They are going to recreate the seance during the eclipse, and Jan gathers up all the same people from the secret society initiation all those years ago. This time they can't break hands. The whole point is to not break hands. Um, the younger daughter chases her dog into the woods as the wind picks up again, and she begins. But so then she's in a trance now. Like she is fully different voiced in the trance. They begin the ceremony again as the eclipse continues. Everyone's scared, but they can't break hands. It's a very tense scene. Very, very tense. The younger daughter walks in with a voice of Karen, like we said, um, stating that it's almost time. We see this creepy orb thing, whatever, causing the people to almost like break the circle, and because it's a tense scene. But then we learn that Karen is trapped in another dimension, because of course she is. And as the tensions increase, uh, as the Mike guys, that his name was Mike, he causes like the circle to be broken. But right as the eclipse comes, they complete, and then Karen returns, and she's there. Checks her blindfolds off. The two daughters are all right. Uh, Karen removes her blindfold, and the creepy older lady walks in to see her daughter. And then abruptly, that's the end of this film. And if that's what you think is terrifying,
But
I have plenty of things I can show you instead.
the creepy part was Karen appeared like she hadn't aged at all.
Well, she was stuck.
I know. So she got stuck in some kind of weird time loop, I guess. I don't know, and just didn't age for 30 years. Can you imagine?
Well, just don't do a seance, I guess. I don't know. I wanted to like this film. I wanted to like this film because it took us so long to try to find it.
Yeah,
And I just
it didn't hit the mark.
didn't understand it. Um, you want to add anything else about this ever so creepy Watcher in the Woods?
Um, not really. There was some confusing parts, but like the copy we had did skip a few times, like
Yeah, I couldn't play it. It's because
glitches.
it was creepy.
Yeah, I think it was just the copy we had. So, I mean, I don't know if it would have been any better, but
Yeah, it clearly got pulled from the cinemas before because it didn't do the best and it got put out there and whatever. And I guess it was a really expensive film and they kept putting more and more money into it. And
to save it.
these 80s, man, we've had two PG movies in a row, followed by this horror movie nonsense. And I think the movie that I'm scared of the most is the one that comes next, but whatever, we'll get there. So then what did you rate this? The Watcher in the Woods. Film number 143.
So ratings. IMDb gave it a 6.2 out of 10. I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Wasn't there like a bunch of like positive comments too? Like, I love this film.
There was a lot of positive comments. Some said it was petrifying.
Then they
Some
should
said it
people
was
should watch it then. Watch the film.
amazing. Good luck finding it. You
Yeah,
might
good
have-
luck finding
You
it.
might have to get it from your local library if
Good
you're
luck.
lucky enough to have a copy.
Good luck, yeah. Yeah,
No.
it was it added to the lore of being hard to find, but it was
Yeah, especially like reading the comments before we were actually able to find it.
the
I
only
was kind of like you. I was kind of really wanting to like
Yeah.
it, but
the only thing that this film was harder to find, it was harder to watch. It was harder to watch than it was harder to find. But
yeah, I can agree with that.
so then does this make its way into your list upon a star there?
It did not swap its way onto my list.
So then what is your list upon a star into 143 films of the year 1980?
The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, 101 Dalmatians, Parent Trap, Sleeping Beauty, Dumbo, The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again, The Apple Dumpling Gang, The Strongest Man in the World, Still Holding On, Napoleon and Samantha, and Snowball Express.
You got some films on there for sure. But mine, you're going to go out to the woods to watch this film and you're going to leave it there because it's not going to make my list upon a star. So my list upon a star is 101 Dalmatians at number 1. Number 2, The Rescuers. Number 3, Mary Poppins. 4, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. 5, Peter Pan. 6, Robin Hood. 7, Alice in Wonderland. 8, Bedknobs and Broomsticks. 9, Pete's Dragon. And number 10, still holding on, is Babes in Toyland. But yeah, we watched this film. The next film that we're gonna watch, we are going back into the world of the Love Bug. I can't believe that this is still going. But deep dive number 144 from June of the year 1980. It's called Herbie Goes Bananas. So will we go bananas as well? We'll find out with
Should we
Herbie.
eat bananas while we watch it?
With Herbie going bananas. But before then, thanks for hanging out with us. I can't believe that we've made it all the way to the 80s. 144 films. That's nuts. Again, we are on Instagram if you want to come find us. Thanks for your follows. We are on Spotify and YouTube if you want to come see this happen. Deep diving the magic. Thanks for your likes, follows, comments, shares, thumbs up, all the things that help the algorithm. And if you want to write to us about how you actually like this film, or about how you actually own this film, or about how this movie actually scared you, or we missed the mark on this being terrifying, or whatever, deep diving the magic pod at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. But again, we will be there next time as we dive deeper into the year 1980 for film number 144, Herbie Going Bananas. But yeah, we'll see you then for bananas.
Thanks for deep diving the magic.
Bye.
Bye.